service dog trainer. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, how I got into Parkinson's dogs. My dad has passed away 2 years ago, but he has Parkinson's for almost 40 years. He was diagnosed back when he was 55. As you know, he probably had it a good 5 to 10 years before that. And I watched him as he progressed, and everything at first was fine. And then he started having some little issues. And I did it at first more for my mom than my dad, because my mom felt like she couldn't go anywhere because she was worried about my dad. Then I thought, what if we trained a dog to help? It would give my mom more freedom. It would give my dad more freedom. And it worked beautifully. So when dad first decided to help me with this, I contacted everybody that I knew. Michael J. Foundation, Muhammad Ali Foundation, Dr. Reed, Dr. Ashman, who's out of the Mayo Clinic. I called everybody and said, what do we need to do to make these into Parkinson's dogs? Because I know they can't just be regular service dogs. And they all said, we don't know. We've never asked anybody that question before. So I said, well, what happens if we use my dog and if I get my dad okay as a guinea pig? And they all agreed to it. So we learned by trial and error. Okay. Sunny here has a dog that does a lot. Sunny has diabetes. There's some other things, and this dog knows a lot of different things than Loki can do. Loki was just trained for Parkinson's. And it was a trial and error. One of the things that we teach dogs is if somebody has a hard time getting up, like if there's a step in there, we want the dog to pull them. But guess what? With Parkinson's, sometimes that made you fall. So we started teaching the dogs different things to do. So what I want to do at first, I picked a Great Pyrenees. They do have a lot of hair, but I needed a dog that was big. It doesn't matter if you guys weigh 80 pounds or if you weigh 300 pounds, you have to have a dog that's at least 55 pounds to help you get up. And the reason for it is the health of the dog. All right. Mini doodles, small poodles, things like that. If you're sitting down on a chair and you have to bend like this to get up, oops. Sorry, everybody at home. If you have to bend over like this to get up, you're going to fall straight forward. So we want a dog that you can go right to. So you have to kind of decide how big you want the dog to, depending on how tall you are. But the dog has to be a minimum of 60 pounds. All right. So how that happens is, it does not like to. So one of the things that I first taught my dad's dog, Loki here, was a brace. So if I'm sitting, or dad was sitting, and he needed to get up, he braced all the way. So he'll stand right here, and what it is he can put a hand here, put all your weight up, and stand up. It also helps to put it back down. Just helps you with your little bit of the dizziness or the ideal of not being able to fall. The other thing you can do is also use their head. Sunny's dog, my dog doesn't do this anymore. He tore his ACL, but Sunny's dog has been trained if Sunny goes down to get underneath her and help her back up. So Sunny's going to show you that right now. We'll put you in the middle here, Sunny.
Oh, can you do that again? She said, because I wheelchair. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll have her do that, and I'll jump right back. All right. Good. So this is another way of a brace. The brace is really important because it's really going to help you get up. If you would fall and can't get up, we can teach a dog to get underneath you and then to help you in a sitting position. And then you can use that dog to get up. Can you do that one more time? Leave it. And I can help you get off the ground. Okay. If you're sitting like I was doing a second ago, being a wheelchair, I just sat in this thing that was up here. We can ask for a brace this way. So I'm going to ask brace.
More in that square on the floor.
Not training those here.
That's bad.
So I'm gonna ask my dog to brace. Over here. Turn around. Over here. And brace. So when he comes up and further, now I can use his shoulder and his hip right here. I can get up. Okay. That's the reason they need to be 50 pounds to 55 pounds. All right. Again, if you had, I'm not very tall, but if I was taller, he's a good height. If you have, sometimes labs are only about this high, you're going to fall forward when you try to get up. So the other thing that we worked on with Loki was, again, I based this a lot on my dad. My dad would every once in a while have a runny nose, kind of part of Parkinson's, right? So we taught Loki to go get Kleenexes for him. Ready? Loki, here. Get Kleenex. I have to move them here. Sorry, guys, it's this thing. Loki, get a Kleenex. Get a Kleenex. Thank you. So he brought me this, but he'll definitely bring one if you need it. The other thing we can teach them is he's coming out of retirement, so I gotta widen him a little bit here. He can actually help somebody if they need to be pushed. Push. Okay. He doesn't steer, he just pushes. Position and push. Push. Good job, buddy. Good job. The other thing that we learned with Loki with my dad towards about year, I think he had it about 25 years before he started freezing with his leg. So we had to teach Loki how to unfreeze him. This was hard for me because I wasn't sure how to get that brain to be triggered to let him know to move that foot. So what we taught Loki to do is step and apply pressure. Loki, unfreeze. I don't know if you can see, but he's stepping on my foot and adding more and more pressure. Once he did that a couple of times, thank you. One more time. My dad could do this, he'd let go and they'd start walking. Okay. If you try pulling somebody, they're going to fall. But it's really nice once you add that pressure, they can do. If it's a hand, you can teach them the same thing. Okay. Right? He goes, you're out of trees. He used to work with no trees. Ready? Around. Ready? So what he'll do is put his head here. He's applying pressure to my hand. The more it goes down, I start to move, he'll back off. So he knows I need to get that hand moving. Dad only froze on his right or his left leg, but I wanted to teach him this too. So yes, good job. Good job. The other thing we taught Loki to do is the wheelchair. Thank you. Is Dad a lot of times had trouble getting up, and sometimes bracing wasn't the area. So what we taught Loki to do is we taught him to pull my dad's leg. Loki, help me up. Pull. Pull. Good job. And it actually sits my foot forward, and Dad can move. All right, so I'll show you that again. Ready? Loki, pull. Yes, good job. It just triggered the brain again to get him up. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. So those are things that I particularly did for my dad. He does other things, but I want to show you other things that a service dog can do for Parkinson's. So I'm going to give you the button. You'll be up in just a second. All right. So Tito and Sunny's going to get up. And what we're going to show you is one of the most important things that I think a service dog needs to learn, especially a Parkinson's dog, is how to go get help. All right. So if my father had fallen in the kitchen, if my mom was in the room and didn't know it, he could send Loki. So we'll send, make sure when this looks straight. So she's going to start over there and she's going to ask him to go find help. But how we start this is she's going to come up. Touch her. Yeah, touch her. One more. Touch her. Yeah. So if you're out shopping or something and you're with somebody they didn't know, they know that person now. And now she can send them for me to go get help. Yeah. Go find Kari. Show me. Where is she? Nice. So again, if you're out shopping, if you're at home or anything like that, we can teach the dog to do that. The reason we say this is Kari, this is Bobby, this is such and such, he knows who to go get, okay? Loki was taught if my dad fell and my mom and I weren't there, to hit life alert. He barked once, they knew just to call one of us. If my dad was not moving or there was blood, he'd bark twice and they'd call a paramedic. Yes, good job. Try that one more time here. He may not because Bobby, he may not because of his knee. Loki has a torn ACL. Before everybody knows. So yeah, jumping in and out of the car. Good. Thanks. Another thing that we can teach them to do also is to take off and help you take your clothes off, a sweater, a sock. So we'll show you with Tito here. Tito, oh. Okay, all done. Right, you can do everything. If I know you can do that too, but we're not doing it. Good job. So they can do other things. I'm going to borrow our star here. Good job. Around. Okay, stay. So one of the biggest things, and I think Liz will tell you, is finding a phone is a very important thing for them. So if you fell or you just need to call or you don't know where it is, they'll find a phone.
Can you put it on the chair?
Wait. Oh, Marvin, where's my phone? Can you find my phone? Good job. Nicely done. Good. We just have to stay there. Good job. So another thing they can do around is something called showing. Say, I know you can do this. Can I borrow one of these? Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times what happens, guys, is you'll be walking and there's a dip in the sidewalk. There could be something, you know, going up and down the stairs. You want to make sure that your dog is going to tell you that's going to happen. All right. So one of the ways that we do this is here. Around. Marvin, can you show me? So now I know there's something there. I would check it and then I can keep walking. All right. Try that again. Around. Easy. Marvin, show me. Yes. And then again, I can see there's something there. Then I can keep walking. Okay. My dad used to trip over little things about yay. Loki would tell him they were there. All right. Then another thing they can do. Well, that's nice. Sit. Wait, let me put this away. We always have to put our stuff away. Is we can teach them also to help you if you go grocery shopping and they need to pick something up or hold it for you. Marvin, get it. Hold it. Hold it. Yeah, hold it. Hold it. Marvin. Yeah. Hold it. Quit. Hold it. Hold it. Sit. Chill. Take it. Hold it. Hold it. What? Marvin here. Hold it. Hold it. Marvin, quit. Sit. Quit. I don't want you to touch your knees. Hold on. Around. Here. Here. Hold it. Hold it. Walk. Around. Hold it. Front. Heel. Candy. Thank you. Was that so hard? That's but my spotlight. I want everybody to see what I can do. Good job, buddy. Good. Another thing that they can do too. Done? Okay. Another thing that's really good for them to do is sit. If you let go of that leash, they should be able to bring it to you. Marvin, get leash. Marvin, get your leash. Good. Around. Marvin, around. Good job. Another thing that they can do that we're just learning with Marvin is to teach them if you're taking a shower and you need to bring that towel around, we can do this. Marvin, get it. And around. Candy? Yes, good job. So now I don't have to bend to get it. Okay, I'll show you that again. Marvin, here. Get it. Bring it. Nicely done. So I can do. So there's a lot of little things they can do that's really going to help. All right. Marvin, here. Sit. Marvin, here. So now we're going to bring our poodle back out. So another thing that we can teach them to do is just what he's doing. It's called a hug. We're going to have yours come up and do that. So sometimes you just need a moment. The day's overbearing. I go home. This time of year is hard for me because I lost my son in a car accident and my dad passed. So some days I'm just a mess. And it's nice to have a dog that will come up and hug. So we can teach them to hug. So sometimes that's just a nice thing to have. Has nothing to do with Parkinson's. It's just some days you just need a nice big hug. You can drop this leash, Bobby. Hold here. You accept that people were stealing your thunder? Yeah. So another thing that this one does, it might be a little hard for you guys to see here, is he can help her find an exit. Try to find. I know.
Yeah, there's one around that corner and then the front.
So what she can do is ask him, and I apologize for people watching this, is to find an exit, and he will take you to that exit. Let's see if I can have it. So there's one around that one.
Mhm.
And this is really nice because if there's ever a fire or you get confused where you are, the dogs are talking to go directly to an exit. So every time Loki comes in a room, he will find every exit. So he had a plan for my dad. Something happened over here, I take him over here. If it happened here, I take him back over here. So the dog will tell you exactly where you need to go and not go. Good job, Mother. Good job. They can pick up, it's amazing how little things they can pick up. Loki can pick up a card and put it in a machine. So, you know, if you're going out to the store and you need to pay for something and you can't get it out of your pocket, he will do that. So we put it off this one. Loki, can you get it for me? Loki, back up. Get it. Get it. You can do it. Try it. Get it. Get it. You want to get it too? Get it. For either. Good boy. So they can almost do anything you need. Then there's something called a block. And we're going to show you with this one. So if you're out, my dad didn't like people walking right behind him. It made him a little nervous. So we can teach the dogs to block and actually keep people away from you. You know, right? So you may want to turn this down too. So what he's doing is he's keeping people from coming right directly behind her, so there's a space block. So that just helps so people are not trying to touch you or do like a RV. You can do a front one too. Loki knows the front one. Here, Loki, see. Loki, go on. Wait. Oh, no, that's a whole circle. Come here. Loki, go on. Wait. So he used to stand like this for my dad. So people can, or if he's standing in line, he could hold them. The other thing too is the Parkinson's. My dad, a lot of times, if he's standing in line, he wanted his hand here. That gave him stability. So Loki used to sit, he can't right now because it's torn AC, but you can put a little bit of pressure there as well. Another thing that service dogs do that we don't usually do with Parkinson's, but it's kind of a nice one. If you had PTSD or autism or something that you really are scared people to come back, we can do something that he does. It's a form of a block, but he goes underneath the legs. Go ahead and show that. Yeah. Let's do Florida first. Good. And the number one thing that we will show him, Marvin does it, he does it, this one does it, is what's called, when you sit, that dog needs to go underneath the chair, it needs to be out of places. So she's gonna sit down and ask that dog to go under, because they can't, they'll go right underneath the chair and stay right there. So that way, if you're on a plane or if you're in a store or anything like that, the dog is out of place. You can also teach these guys to hold something for you if you need it. If you stuck it, there you go. So Loki was taught to hold my dad's things quite a bit. And that's a front one that you can do as well. That's done, guys. Good. Thanks. Can you borrow one of those? Mm-hmm. So Loki was taught to hold different things for my dad. Right. Sit. And over. Sit. Hold. 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 So if my dad needed to touch, wait. Hold. So he would hold this, wait. And then if dad could get it, then he doesn't have to bend down to pick it up. All right, release. Oh yeah, so what we'll do next is, so we're gonna show you another way to do with the cane. We're gonna show you how Marvin picks up his cane and brings it to Liz. Hey Liz, or Liz, get up, you're gonna get your own cane. You're fine, you sit right there. All right, so this is hers, so we can teach Marvin to get it for her. Wait. Marvin, get the cane. Stand it. Yes. Around. Around. Good job. Stay. Marvin, get the cane. Free. Stand it. Good job. Get your leash. Hand it. Good. Yep. Forward. A little closer. Good. All right. You can have that. And that way. So there's a lot you can teach them. He was doing great. Perfect. So there's other things that the Parkinson's dogs can do as well. One of the big ones for my dad also is my dad towards the end, he had trouble getting out of bed. to use the bathroom. So Loki used to get on the bed. My dad would be like this. Loki would roll him over into a sitting position. And then he would bring him his walker, take him to the bathroom. Dad would use the potty and then Loki would flush. We try not to show that too much because my water bill, once we get doing that, is like $400. At the studio, we have to keep the bathroom door shut because he likes to flush the thing. I don't know what to do with the flush the enough. You guys have any questions that maybe we can answer to see if the dog can do it?
Well, you know, maybe it's at the beginning. What about male?
So a service dog doesn't have to be neutered. Like he's still young. They don't have to. I personally think you should. And the reason for it is, I don't care how well the trainer is. If he was a she and then these two dogs would be right all over. Most service dogs, the larger dogs, you're going to wait about 2 years before you neuter them because you want that full height. And he's so nicely muscular here. If you neuter them sooner than that, they grow taller but thinner. Then people ask me a lot too: is a male better than a female? It just depends on the dog. In your giant breeds, like your Pyrenees, Saint Bernards, things like that, males tend to be a little bit more laid back than the females. Doesn't mean a female can't do it. We have both. We have males and females, and they all seem to be okay. But I know with the giant breeds, I've been more successful with males than females, just depending on what kind of dog you get. And then this is a big misunderstanding because we have so many people on TV like Caesar or Lucky Dog. You go to the pound, you pick up a dog, you come home, it can send a service dog. Rarely, if ever, does that happen, guys. I'm not saying that a pound dog can't do it, but they have to have the right personality. They'll have to want that drive to help you. So I have two great Pyrenees. I have him that I waited 18 months and I went back to Denmark from the same breeder and got another one. She's a really nice dog. But if my dad was frozen in the middle of the street and she knew you would pet her, she would leave my dad in the middle of the street to go get petted. She had no urgency that there was a problem. All right. So that all just depends on the dog. And the other problem, if you go to like the Humane Society or the pound and the dog is over a year, a service dog cannot have any record of being aggressive or bitten anybody. A service dog is not a dog that's supposed to protect you. It's a dog that's helping you. Okay, so for example, if somebody's going to come up and steal something, he can do a block, but he can't technically go after that person. Okay, they're not there to be a protector. They're there to make a service. So as the law sees a service dog, it's not a dog. It is a part of a medical. So that he's viewed as much as a wheelchair. The biggest problem that most people have getting a service dog is they want to make it a dog. They want it to be part of your pet. That's not a bad thing, but you have to be very careful with the training because once you start letting them do stuff, it's really hard to train them back. Like a service dog, if you notice, he barely has his nose on the ground. They cannot sniff. So if I took him into a grocery store and he's sniffing everywhere, by law, they can ask me to leave. He's not in there to be sniffing things out. He's there to, like he would put cereal in my dad's cart. He would push the cart, that type of thing. They cannot touch fruit, meats, and they can't touch vegetables, but they can put like cereal in your bag. They can put water in whatever you need them to do. They can do that. In a restaurant, they cannot sniff. In fact, one of the tests that they have to do to become a service dog is we go out to eat, and people are allowed to. We're supposed to put hamburger like right here. There's steaks and stuff. They cannot eat that. They're not allowed to do that because of their saliva on different situations with that. It takes about 18 months to 2 years to totally train a service dog. So I always tell people, they'll go, well, I waited this long because I didn't need it. Well, you want to make sure that you have it so when you're ready, you're ready. One of the things that Loki does that I didn't show you is my dad shuffled a lot when he walked, and that could be dangerous. He was fine for many years, but then he started tripping. So we taught Loki. Yeah. Okay. So with Loki, what we taught him to do is when my dad would walk with them, we would say, ready? Parkinson's walk. And he'll stay out that way and he would pull my dad. So my dad's walking like this over just walking. And the reason for it is you guys never stand up. It's easy to fall when your feet are like this. So when you're spread apart like this, you have more balance. And so the dogs would remind you of that. Another thing that they would do is, let's see her. I need you again, little boy. Your turn again. You don't let me go, Liz. Come, bring me your Liz. Thank you. So what we taught this one, and he was doing it with Liz, is when we're walking and your head goes down, he'll start booping her and your head goes up. Because a lot of times you don't know your head's down when you're walking. So if we're walking again, so if we're walking, my head goes down, he should be booping. There we go. He just booped me. So my head should be up. Okay. I know it seems weird, but we all forget to put our heads up when we're walking. It's just part of Parkinson's. If someone's saying, hey, pretty soon your head goes up. And it makes it a lot more easier for you to walk around. Nice to know. So I always tell people, like with my dad, it worked out really well. He started working the dog before he needed it. So he continued to go hiking. He did all different things with the dog. As he got worse, we could add things, but towards the end, so my dad didn't die of Parkinson's. He was the longest living gets in our family. His dad died at 55. His grandfather died at 50. My dad lived to 87. His heart just gave out. But towards the end, we couldn't do a lot with Loki. So it's better to start sooner than later. And everybody's Parkinson's goes, some goes very quickly, some goes very slowly. I would say for 30 years, my dad just had the shuffles and everything was fine, but Loki could do things for him. Again, one of the other reasons I really liked it is my mom felt like she couldn't leave. And so for 10 years, if she went shopping or whatever, she knew Loki was there. And it wasn't a problem. Loki knew how to open up doors. He knew how to bring the phone. He could, go to the neighbors and get help if need be. So there's a lot of things that we can really do with a service dog. He's probably the best one right now with it, but she can go up and say, touch anything, and that dog's going to touch it. So if it's a door opener, if it's something that they need to get, I don't know if we have light switches that they can do, but they can turn lights off and on, back up, around, by me, and sit. So that's things we can do too, is have them turn lights off and on. I have to tell you, when I was really, really sick, it was so nice to have a dog that would turn lights off and on and give me the clicker. There's a lot they can do. Does anybody have any questions or a concern that maybe a dog may or may not be able to? Like with your walker, you can teach the dog to bring it to you. That's an easy thing to do. Can you think of something? Oh, buddy. To have a service dog, you do have to have a legal disability, and as of 2010, Parkinson's is considered in the law order where a service dog can be given to you. I know it sounds really weird, but they have to realize that you really need it, because we have so many people that do face that need service dogs, and it really does make it really hard for everybody. Loki there got attacked at a Walgreens with my dad. He was sitting there. Somebody brought in their service dog and it attacked him and almost ripped his ear off. And he just had to stand there. So they are really coming down. They haven't changed the law. They're just really enforcing it. For people who don't have a service dog and pretend like it is a service dog, it's a $50,000 fine and up to 10 years in jail. In the state of Arizona, we're one of the few states that a dog in training has the same right as a service dog if that dog has been trained to do a particular task. So for example, when I started working with Marvin, we didn't go into the grocery stores until he learned to keep his nose up and not do anything, because it would have been illegal for me to take him in there if he wasn't trained not to do certain things. Right now, we are trying very hard. We have a really nice backer that hopefully is going to help us get a facility. We're from the Complete Canine. We do service dogs that specialize in Parkinson's dogs. But we're hoping to have a facility where we will have dogs ready. So if you needed one, you would come and we would see what you're needed and then pick a dog and have you guys show up. We're hoping to have the Michael J. Fox Foundation, so they would back us. They just want to see more dogs. So we're hoping that will happen. Thank you. The other thing I didn't show you, which helps, some of you saw it, is little my dad was always worried to take Loki out in case he went potty or he needed. So he was always worried about it. So we taught Loki to take things out of my dad's pocket, and so he didn't have to worry. So I'm going to turn this way so the camera can see it. Ready? Pull. 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 Keep going. Good job, and hand it. So he used to take my dad's wallet out for him. He could do all that. So anything you had in your pocket, he would hand it to my dad. Again, there's a lot they can do. You don't have to have a hairy dog. My mom would tell you, don't get a Great Pyrenees. She doesn't like dust in her house. He's a lot hairy. But here's the thing. There are certain dogs that are better at it than others. And each dog is different. I will tell you that a lot of our doodles do not make great Parkinson's dogs. And the reason for it is they've taken a golden retriever and bred it to a poodle, and they have a tendency to be a little bit on the hyper side. I'm not saying they can't do it, but usually labs, standard poodles, things like that are going to be a little bit better. Mixes, like he's a Labrador, part golden retriever, part lab. He's great for them. The only reason I picked Loki is that I knew I'd be going all over the country talking about Parkinson's dogs. I went to the Mel Clinic in Boston, and I just wanted a dog that nobody was going to be scared of, and a dog that could do everything I needed to do. So going in elevators, they can push the buttons for that. They can almost do anything. My philosophy, as long as it's not going to hurt the dog and the dog knows it's not going to hurt it, we can train it. He would help Dad in and out of the car. He learned probably 10 years ago that if Dad was very unstable, he would block and would let my dad get in the driver's seat. And then my mom felt a lot better. Dad was really good about knowing that when he could drive and not drive, but Loki knew if Dad was a little bit off, he would keep him from going into the drive. Yeah. Oh yeah, they can get things out of the refrigerator. They can carry water. They can carry mats. Basically, whatever you need them to do. Loki also, Dad had his pills at certain times. Dad would forget, and my dad liked to have a beer now and then, and he would forget that you're supposed to wait, whatever it might be, just try to make it up like an hour. So when Loki gave him his pills, he would hit a timer, and that timer went off. When Dad asked for a beer, Loki would go get him one. If that timer didn't go off, he would not bring him one. And it wasn't that my dad was an alcoholic, he just couldn't remember sometimes when he took the pill and when it was safe for him to have a drink. So we taught Loki to do that. Huh. Any questions?
There's a few questions online. Someone was asking how you find the service dogs. That's really important.
So right now, I don't know of any place that has Parkinson's dogs. We're hoping to have them. We have a couple of dogs coming in that we're going to be training. Not a service dog, it's finding the right dog to make a service. Yeah. So that's the problem. A lot of places will have people that can actually test to see if they're going to be a service dog. Again, it's not that any other dog's not bad, but you need, like, all three of these dogs are pretty comfortable just sitting here. They're not asking for people to pet them and stuff. They have to have the right temperament that really wants to work, really wants to help you, and also not be aggressive. So if my dad was here and he had left to use the bathroom, Loki every 5 minutes would be checking on my dad. Are you okay? Okay, I'm gonna go play again. Are you okay? I'm gonna come back and play. All right. Are there any other questions?
Does insurance cover the cost or?
So that's a good question. So right now, insurances do not cover Parkinson's. There is a, best of my knowledge, the Michael J. Fox Foundation and Parkinson. They'll come to me. There's a Parkinson group that is trying to get that passed because, again, for Parkinson's, it's a medical situation, and they want to see if they can get help with that.
So it is tax.
It is tax deductible. Yeah. So for like with Marvin, I forgot your name. Sorry. Like with Marvin, if she was paying for his training, she could use that and write it off. Yeah, so he's tax writable, so your food, your vet bills, and your training is all tax write-off because it's considered medical equipment. Your tags are free, your rabies tags are free, the state will pick that up for you as well. There's a lot of places, we are just now starting under my dad's name scholarship, so there'll be money there to help people with dogs. I want to try to get a dog to one person a year under my dad. My dad got me started in this. So that's what we do. And Loki's been a really good help with that. So we want to have a Loki scholarship as well. Thank you. I know I got a little Kari, I know. So we want to make sure we can get those out there for people. So he's hugging me right now because my voice went a little bit. I get a little emotional about my dad. He'll come and do this to calm me down. He doesn't know what else to do, so he does a Parkinson's thing by applying pressure to my hand. Okay, yeah.
How do you find a group to train the dog for you?
So right now, I'm about the only one in Tucson that's doing it. So here's the thing, guys. If you need a Parkinson's dog, really look for a trainer because there's a lot of people out there. There's a couple of people here in Tucson that will do Parkinson's dogs, but they don't understand the disease. And one of the things, like I was telling you before, is if you freeze, instead of teaching the dog to step on you, try to get your brain to trigger that, to teach the dogs to keep pulling you, or you're going to fall. Most people don't understand what Parkinson's is. Lucky or unlucky, I got to live with it. And so it gives me a good chance of seeing what's going on.
Yeah, the business to do is ask them if they have any dogs to show you.
Yeah.
First to see if it was, to see how their dogs are working or what they're doing.
Yes, you can ask that trainer, do you have any dogs to show us? We always use Loki. We have Marvin, we can use this one. Just however you want to do it. So this is a dog that's very comfortable. It trusts her completely. I don't know if he's her service dog or if she's his service person, but he's remarkable. She has diabetes, so he'll let her know if she's low or high. She also, has PTSD, so he will get her out of places that she needs to be. So he does a lot for her, a lot. Loki did a lot too, but it was one thing. This one has to pick up 2 or 3 different things. There is a group that also says that they can teach dogs to let you know when your Parkinson's is coming on or off. That's not true. Parkinson's, as you know, it's the liquid in your head that sort of dries up. It's water, guys. There's no sense to water. And not to be mean, but I think you all know you probably have Parkinson's. You don't need a dog every day to say, hey, sorry, but today you have Parkinson's. Or it's going to be this degree over that degree. I mean, I'm kind of making it funny, but we don't need dogs to tell us that we have it. They can't even tell us we have it until so many Parkinson's. There are tests now that say that you're more likely to get Parkinson's than over, but how they basically diagnose is if you have so many Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. So with my dad, it started with, he would be just writing and this finger would just cramp up like that. It could be Parkinson's or it could be Parkinson's. Then he started walking and he was walking like this. And then after a while, this handling came up to here. You could have Parkinson's, that's for Parkinson. And when you have so many Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. I mean, looking back on everything and looking at my dad, I can tell you exactly what's going on. I don't know if anybody recently have seen Michael J. Fox. He was just on TV for, I think it was a reunion to Back to the Future. And, he's had it since he was 29. They got very excited when they found out he had it. He lived in a very small town in Canada. Everybody, I think it was 82% of the people in that little town came down with Parkinson's. So they were like, yes, it's in the soil, it's in here. They thought they could figure out where Parkinson's came. They couldn't. But he's now even having, a little bit of twitches and kind of walking this way. So he could have used a dog a couple of years ago. If he had a dog now, it really helps a lot. But he doesn't freeze. He just has all different, motions of that way. Any other questions?
Someone said they have a beagle that they've kind of trained themselves who helps a lot but isn't perfect. She wants to know if she needs a bigger dog than a beagle.
If she needs any kind of mobility, like the dog to brace for her, get up and stuff, yes, she will. Depending on what she's trained the beagle to do. So in order to have a service dog, it has to have 3 distinct tasks. All right. Picking up a phone, picking up keys, picking up whatever, that's one task. All right. Coming in and having her dog say, go get help, that's the second task. When he gave me that towel, that's a task. They have to have 3 distinct different tasks. So turning lights off, pushing the button to come in, that's all one task. It's just different objects. So if they're going to use that dog, it has to have 3 distinct tasks. If she doesn't need any kind of like racing or anything like that, yes, the dog can do it. But again, you have to have 3 distinct. Anybody out here? Marvin, do you have a question? No hamburgers, I'm sorry.
I wonder if you'll still go get it.
Oh, okay, I'll get it up in a second. Go ahead.
We're walking in big phone,
Mhm.
you said show me,
Right.
in real life, you.
So right now, yeah, so we first teach them, we'll say, show me, but then they automatically just do it themselves. Because this is a weird object, I said, show me, but we do that a lot with, if we're walking on sidewalks and there's that, so that little thing like there, this is more dangerous for you guys because you can't see it. And like a step up and step down. So we teach them both. You know, so any change whatsoever in your, walking, substance, they're going to alert you. Be it just like that or down. My dad, the worst tumble he ever took was in a sidewalk that had a little divot about yay big because he was shuffling and the toe caught it and he went straight down. But that being said, a Parkinson's dog cannot keep you from falling. You would break the dog's back if they tried to hold you. If you got a little wobbly, they can push you against the wall a little bit, but they're there to help you get up. There's no dog that can keep you from falling. It doesn't matter again if you weigh 65 pounds or a little overweight like me. It's just that it's dead weight coming at you. And to keep the dogs there safe. So this, I believe, is Marvin's. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So we'll see if Marvin.
We do, back with like.
Marvin,
cardio
here.
equipment.
Marvin,
You can show people here.
Marvin,
We can show the people here. We can't
Get
keep
your
the camera out loud.
get your mouth. Good boy. Give it to Liz. We'll give it to Liz. Marvin loves his job. And you know, everything's like.
I agree. So I can help Kayla to take me and he can pick up his pace and kind of lean forward to take me up.
Which would be helpful for some of you too. So, I don't know if you guys can see it there, but yes, so she'll say, take me up and he'll start holding her climb up what he needs to do. I know.
But what he would do is he would come forward in front of me, forward. There we go. And he would pull me up.
They don't run, they just kind of give you that little bit of help that you need. The other thing that they can do too is, can you send me that garbage can over there? See between the 2 cones? Turn. Straight. Good job. I have hot dogs that can give you. So another thing that we can do is, this is George, this is one of our other trainers. So if you have something, ready, look, pick it up. Look, pick it up. I know you want to do it. Back up. Pick it up. I'm going to give you a treatment. Remember, like I said, he's been retired, so he's like, you know, I put in my job. You must pay me now. So, and that's something you don't always have to treat your dog. Come here. Well, pick it up. Throw it away. Stop it. Oh, you missed. Pick it up. Pick it up. Support. Over. Over. And go. Good boy. He tries to put his feet there because my parents had one like you have over there. So he thinks he needs to step on it. He likes to do it too. He can probably do it a little bit better. Leave it here. So I will tell you, the first time I've ever experienced, my dad was lucky to have passed away at our house. So I think good about COVID. The VA hospital was full, so my mom got to be there the whole time with him. When he was getting ready to pass, Loki was there and he didn't understand, so he kept trying to bring him in his wheelchair. He tried to do different things, had his head there. He literally, what was it, 4 or 5 months? He was in a depression. And it was because he was so used to working that he couldn't work. So the reason I'm telling you that is a lot of times if we have a service dog, we retired just because I wouldn't be where I was without him. There's no way I was going to give him up. But let's just say we had a young dog that was 3 or 4 and we had given him to you. And for some reason you didn't want him anymore or couldn't use him anymore. We will ask for those dogs back. They technically belong to us, even though you have them, and we will give them to somebody else who needs it. These guys really want to work, really want to work. So as long as we can keep pushing, that's fine. If for some reason, a good example would be Marvin here, let's say he couldn't help Liz anymore, he's come accustomed to those two. And if it's better for the dog to stay in that family, we would leave the dog. We're not just going to pull them out and say, sorry, you can't have this dog anymore. But a lot of times they want them to get up and get working with someone else, and we'll do that as well. But hopefully, yep, sorry.
One thing I think you can say that I know it impressed me. So when Marvin finds the phone or whatever, particularly the phone, it's so impressive to see him go from room to room in the house looking for the phone. You know, it's not like he knows exactly where it is. He has to actually go into each room.
Yep.
It's not in here.
Yeah, this is with this, because this is right here, but we could put it way on the other side of the gym here and he'll find it if he needs it. Same way with glasses. They'll find glasses, they'll find car keys, they will find almost anything you need them to find. Make sure I had my car keys. But yeah, it's amazing to watch them do it. I'll be right with you. My dad, when he started getting Lewy body dementia, he kept thinking he was back. My dad was in the Korean War, and so he'd go outside and try to hide. Loki would find him and bring him always back in. So my mom didn't have to worry about that as well. So I don't know. I know that it made my dad's life better. My dad used to call him his son, but I know it helped my mom as well. It helps both parties in that. Do you have a question?
Yes, sir. What? Because they find things that are in the
Yep. So they can open up doors for you. They can bring you socks if you need them. They can help put socks on. Loki used to help make the bed. So dad would do one side, he'd get onto the other side and bring it up and bring it down. They can do laundry. It's one of the same things I'd like to do. They can take clothes and put them in the washing machine. You have to do the button. And then when it goes off, depending on the machine, especially your front loaders, they can take it and put it in the dryer, do it. And then when they go off, so they can take everything out and pull a basket to you. My dad thought that was the coolest thing. My mom thought it was the grossest thing. So my mom is she's 86 now. I mean, one piece of hair in her house and she doesn't like to come to my house. Perfect. Well, they can't see, so I'm gonna put it. So he's gonna find her keys. I'm gonna put them there, and then she can have them find it. But yeah, so the back, they can do a lot.
Where are they?
So if you notice, they'll start looking for them.
Where are they? They were over here. You'll see him circle back here because he knows that but you'll see he'll circle back here a lot because they were sitting. By making sense. Really good. Oh, actually.
He's allergic to chicken. So you can see how they kind of work and try to find it. They're not just, but they have to find where they go. They will always go back where it was in the first place. But getting back to the doors, They can open, close them. After you have one, sometimes you take a little advantage of it. My dad thought it was really, sorry, Dad. He used to like to go to the mailbox because that's where they live. There's a whole bunch of them, and then you sit on the side. And he used to tell my mom, "Oh, I'll go get the mail," because he used to like to sit there because all the young girls would get off the school bus and want to say hi to Loki. So my dad always said, "I have it because it's my chicken." But afterwards, he would go get the mail. Loki would bring the mail to, bring it up to the house. But yeah, they can get things out of your drawers if you need to. If you have like electricity that goes off, they can bring you a flashlight. There's so much they can do. All our dogs are taught to go. So hopefully this never happens, Liz, but let's say Liz has to be taken in the ambulance for some reason. He knows how to ride a man. He knows how to sit right off to the side. He knows what to do. With Loki, we had a bag. It had all my dad's medication, and when he took it, so he would bring that out, give it to the paramedic. Everything they needed was right there. And then when he got into the hospital or into the ambulance, Loki would go with him. And in fact, Loki went into his room with him as well. So a service dog can be with you at all times. So how do you have a good one? Good one? Okay.
Well, that thing with him, Peter will stuff himself in there.
I just need something for him to pull. Does anybody else have any other questions? So hopefully this helps, guys. It's something for some people it's not, but it's nice to have one. It's for example, with Liz, she still goes out and walks, and because she has Marvin, it's easier for her. Her body feels a little bit better. She has something there to help her. They will go get help. The biggest problem with the service dog, guys, and we had a problem here at the gym for a little bit, and it was partly Marvin's fault, is that if there's a dog here working, you cannot pet it. It is working. And so the more you pet it, the more you get him excited and stuff like that. He'd rather be pet than little, especially Marvin. He's socialized. They forget what they're supposed to do. So if she brings them and has them stay there, he should be ignored until she's done and then tells the dog to go visit. Like Loki will not go visit anybody until I say go visit. And it's not because we're trying to be mean to the dogs. They are there for a purpose. So if she needs something and he's over here talking and playing with you guys, he may miss that she needs something. And it could be something as important as they fell and they need to get them up. So a service dog really shouldn't be petted with or without a vet.
That was the math is because Liz was to bring him to class.
Right.
And he would lie next to her.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just meant like for him to get up and say hi to other people. Right.
I have this problem. Yes. And I forgot that I forgot.
No worries, no worries. I'm used to that. Nothing. Yeah, if you remember, just let me know.
How do you start the dog?
So most dogs, we can start as simple as 8 to 10 weeks getting them used to stuff. You don't want to start a dog that's over, I don't like to do it after 3, because technically it takes 2 years and you already have a dog that's 5. So you want to keep them a little bit younger. And then for the bracing part, like to teach them to brace, the dog has to be at least 18 months old. You can teach them that position, but to actually put a lot of weight on them. And the reason for it is that their muscles, their joints are not into that. So he learned for the longest time he could stand there. My dad could do a little bit, but to really take my dad's weight, it takes they have to be about 18 months old. So when we started with Loki, Dad was probably about 170, 175, and towards the end, Dad was maybe 100. So, but he had other issues as well. But he really, I can't tell you the joy my dad had when he got Loki and we started working with him. Dad he used to not want to go places. He was going everywhere. He loved having him. The biggest problem with Dad is we went to celebrate my dad and my mom's anniversary. He didn't want to go because he was so scared he was going to freeze in the bathroom. But once we taught Loki how to flush the toilet, my dad was fine. And it's kind of funny. He came back to the table and he sat down. And he goes, "I have never been timed to go potty before." I'm like, "What are you talking about, Dad?" He goes, "Loki came and checked on me, and then he went to the stall next to me and flushed the toilet and came back and looked. Then went down to the next one and flushed. He came back and looked and goes, it put pressure on me and I couldn't go potty." And that's because he loved He loves the flush toilet. It's his favorite thing in the world.
I know what you're talking about. How come they don't have the, paying the service dog?
They can, so he has his on. I don't, they can work with it with their harness. I just didn't put one on him. We do, so her dog, when she works with her, has it's almost like a CNI dog handle. You can have one of those that help. Loki had something similar to that for my dad as he got on. By law, they don't have to have it. We tell people to take them, go with them. I don't put his on, to be honest with you, because I think that associates him with my dad. And so when he gets that on, he's like looking around and doing different things. Yeah. So like he has his on. So our dogs will have it says complete canine, we put medical alert on all our dogs. It's just easier to do. Buying them on Amazon, Chewy, places like that is totally illegal. On the state of in California, you can get arrested for it. They sued Amazon and Chewy in one. You have to have a disability recognized by the American Disability Act in order to have one, because so many people buy them to take the dogs on planes.
Right.
Yeah. So
what about them?
So these guys can go on planes. We teach them actually to curl up. He will actually curl up in something almost this size. He can curl up that close, and he'll just curl up underneath your feet. We got lucky because we flew a lot because he was the first Parkinson's dog in the country. And so we flew a lot with American, and we just happened to know a pilot. I believe it was his dad that had Parkinson's and knew when we were on. So he used to put Loki in the cockpit with him. We have pictures. I didn't know that little window opened in the plane, and there's a picture of Loki's head out of it. And I was more worried like that stays open. We're gonna die. I didn't mind that my dog's head was out, but I had no idea that little door opened. Yeah, so they can't deny a service dog on a plane. But now they didn't change the law, they're just enforcing it. So for Marvin to fly, I had to write a thing stating, this is Marvin's the Parkinson's dog, this is what he can do and not do. And then the airlines, you fill out a thing, they call me and ask me if that's my dog. And I say, yes, I have a license, I'm a certified service dog trainer. And that goes on, and then it's good for until his rabies is up, and then they'll do it again. So, and when we train dogs, we take them to the airport. We train them on we have a lot of paramedics that come and work with us. We train your dog for everything. So when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. We do ask that people come back every year or so, just so we make sure that everything's up to par. And if we need to tweak something, we can. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone like?
Somebody said they're working with a standard poodle who has a few skills, and they were wondering if you can provide resources or contact for support.
Yes, and I'm gonna give you my cards, and you can they can email me or text me or whatever. These are all. Yeah. But yeah, we can definitely do that. So here's the other thing too, is you can get a dog and start training it yourself, which is perfectly fine. You just want to make sure you train your dog properly. I can't tell you how many people have gotten big dogs and taught them to brace too soon or not properly, and they've hurt the dog. Brace is a very important part of the service dog, but they have to learn how to stand there just right. Otherwise, you can break their back.
So what if they're taught whatever? And you can have to use that particular.
They'll still remember it.
Really?
It just becomes part of their routine. They'll just say no. He hasn't done things since my dad's house, but he can find out. Anything else? Oh, no. So thank you for bringing that up. So a service dog, any service dog cannot have a raw diet. You can feed a little bit of like raw liver, like the little freeze-dried ones, but to feed them like just a raw diet where you're giving them chicken and hamburger and stuff like that. The reason for it is those dogs will eventually get E. coli. They have more chances of worms and things like that. and they can't go into hospitals, they can't do this, different things like that. So they just cannot have water. You can feed them, dog food. I'm talking like some people, I have a friend, she feeds raw to her dogs, so she gives them raw chicken, raw hamburger, steak, it's no cooking, you just go to the store, buy stuff and give it to your dog. And the reason for that is health issues.
So, I think what I want to know. Would you ever buy canned food?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can do both of those. There's what's called freeze dried, like liver and stuff. You could do that. I'm talking about if I went down to Fry's and bought a whole chicken and just fed it to my dog raw. Yeah, just open the package and feed it to him. Yeah. So just pure raw food they can. Like he just had some hot dogs, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would not, it's like if I went to the store and bought drumsticks, opened up the container and gave him a drumstick that hasn't been cooked. They can have cooked food, they just can't have raw. It's fine. I mean, a little bit's not gonna hurt them, but that's the.
Okay, so dog diet.
Yep.
that are raw.
Anything else? Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Well, thanks. Hopefully we help. Like I said, the main point of a Parkinson's dog is even if you don't think you need a dog and you're starting to think maybe you'd like to have one, it's better to start sooner than because we can get the dogs to help. All righty. Anything, folks?